topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
This is Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. Do you want to live a more fulfilling life? Do you want to live your legacy and achieve your personal, professional, and financial goals? Well, coming up on Divya Parekh's Beyond Confidence, you will hear real stories of leaders, entrepreneurs, and achievers who have stepped into discomfort, shattered their status quo, and are living the life they want. You will learn how relationships are the key to achieving your aspirations and financial goals. Moving your career or business forward does not have to happen at the expense of your personal or family life, or vice versa. Learn more at www.divyaparekh.com, and you can connect with Divya at contact@divyaparekh.com. This is Beyond Confidence, and now here's your host, Divya Parekh.
Good morning, listeners. It is wonderful to be here with y'all. It is Tuesday morning, and just a beautiful morning. It's sunny. So being in North Carolina, I'll share with you, we are very fortunate to have 4 different seasons, and it's been cold. And it's so surprising. I was just talking with one of my friends. She lives in Wisconsin, and I was telling her, oh, it's 40 degrees here. And it was probably, or it was, I don't know, 25. I forget the exact temperature that we had. And she said, it is minus over here. So what I want to talk about here today is it's about a perspective as to what is it? What is it that makes a life good, beautiful, full of life, full of joy, or bad? So technically there's nothing bad or good. Things are just as they are. So when I heard from my friend who's in Wisconsin, I'm like, it's summer over here. And that said, we are having beautiful temperatures this week, and it's sunny, beautiful day. So why not? It is just amazing to be here, and I get to be with you. So for those of you who have got our books, Expert to Influencer or The Entrepreneur's Garden, thank you, because not only you're investing in yourself, where you can make your life gorgeous and beautiful and bring meaning to it, you're also helping other entrepreneurs, because we do share part of the proceeds with kiva.org. So, and we always talk about kindness circle, keeping that going. So today we are going to be talking about financial freedom, negotiating financial freedom. And now, what is financial freedom? Let me ask you this. For every person, the financial freedom will be different. Now you may be asking, all right, Divya, you're sharing. What does it mean to you? For me, what it means is that it's not just about freedom with money. It's about the freedom of time. It's about having that relationship with money, that it's okay. Yes, you deserve to earn money. You deserve to have that financial freedom. You can say yes to the money. Yes. So it's about the relationship with the money. And the key over there is that money is not good or bad. It's what you do with it. It's how you think about it. Because a lot of people will say, oh, money is the root of all evils. And here's what I'll say. It's the choices of human beings that makes it good or bad. That's what I can tell you. And we did have a guest who was going to join us. We have reached out, not sure if they'll be able to join it or not. People's lives can be tough. Sometimes, it happens. but that we will still be talking about financial freedom. So, what I want to share with you is the financial freedom I want to talk to you about from my book, The Entrepreneur's Garden, because I do talk about there are 9 relationships. And in that, the one relationship that I talk about is relationship with money. And why am I talking about the relationship with money? It'll be like, okay, what does money and I have to do about the relationship? So that's why I kind of shared that story about the temperatures. That how do I feel as far as the temperature is concerned? So it was like how I was looking at it. What is my relationship with life? So money is no different. So what I want to share with you is I'm going to read something from my book. Money provides you the freedom to live the lifestyle you desire so that you can serve others. And it's important to do so with a humble spirit and make a positive impact. And the chapter starts out with, a little over 2 months went by when I received this email from Dee. I'm thrilled to hear that you've made such great strides with your time relationship. It gives me joy to know that you have become excellent with using your time wisely and even carving out some personal space for yourself. I was especially interested in your account of attracting more potential clients who are in tune with your values. I believe that comes from optimizing your efforts of knowing yourself better and managing your time wisely while continuing to leverage your existing strengths. So I just want to talk about what is that email? So the book is set where there is this character D who is fast forward. So what I did was, this is when I wrote that book, I fast forwarded my life 25, 30 years. D who's retired and is helping other people, and she is working with a young entrepreneur and mentoring. And then the the young entrepreneur has worked through her relationship with time, and now she is into relationship with money. And what happens is that she is getting clients because she has realized, I'm not going to go into relationship with time today. We are going to talk about relationship with money. Now, let's look at, in terms of relationship with money, what happens is that there are the objections. And what are the objections to money? When things are not going your way. So the first thing when the things are not going your way is we have the beliefs. And here's what I'm going to share with you. Think about a thermostat, going back to the temperature. So when you have a thermostat in your house, let's say you put in the temperature at 70 degrees. So whenever the temperature goes high in the summertime, then your AC will kick in and bring the temperature down to 70 degrees. Now, if it is winter time, if the temperature is 40 or 50, the heater will kick in and bring it to 70 degrees. So similarly, we have a temperature thermostat within our mind, hearts, and brains. And how does that happen? Because think about it, when you were a child, as a child, a we are exposed to our parents, to our teachers, to friends, and we are learning, we are conditioning ourselves okay, what works? And as a result, what happens is that your brain conditioning happens. So you have developed some beliefs, and especially, let's say, if you're coming from a family where money was tight, then it's always okay, what happens now? If the money is tight, you gotta spend wisely. You could be coming from a family where the money was not a problem. And then, okay, it's all right to spend money. So, what is happening is that you're building this one or two or three beliefs with themselves. And these beliefs will last you for the rest of your life. And as a result, what happens is that those beliefs will be guiding your entire lives. And they will be directing the decisions you make, the choices you make, and actions you take. So our guests have joined us. And welcome, Dr. Bob.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we were just now talking about what does the relationship look like with the money and how the beliefs can be formed and conditioned based on the exposure when we are children. And that said, it's so important to break those beliefs. So share with us, how do you see your relationship with money and
Uh,
financial freedom?
well, thank you for having me. Excuse my tardiness. I had some technical difficulties, but I did catch what you said about the thermostat, and I really love that. Right, the temperature is so hot outside, but it's up to us to control the thermometer, right?
Mhm.
And in our beliefs, it's really up to us to control our mindset. Those inches between our brain, it's us, and we have to have that positive mindset. And I'm a university professor, and I talk about money with students all the time. And sometimes they don't like to bring up the fact about money. Sometimes they feel ashamed that they don't have a lot of money, so they they just don't want to talk about it, or they think that they can't make money, or they don't deserve to have the money. But a lot of it, so much is that mindset. That positive mindset. We know, and we see it now in life and politics and the weather. Bad things happen, but it's up to us to control that thermostat, as you said, to make it a positive thing. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I definitely, you reminded me of being a student. Like while I was a student, those were some of my happiest days. I didn't have money, and sometimes, you know, I was I was like doing TA-ship, and I think so I was doing another job as well. And sometimes I still remember, like, when I was in California, uh, there was like a Carl's Jr. I don't know if it is still there or not. This was in 1990s. And they used to have $1 salad. So sometimes the money was so tight. I would just go and have that salad for $1. And and I'd be so happy, like, yay, I only spend that. So it kind of like comes back to our mindset. So uh, I know you have been through some rough times, and so tell us, like, what happened with you during the 2008 economic crisis.
I remember 2008 like it was yesterday, because it really did change my life. A little bit of a background about myself is I've been married for 24 years, but um, it's a blended family. So my wife had two kids. I had four, so we blended six kids.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice. Wonderful.
yeah, in 2008, we had all the kids. We had bought a house that wasn't her house or my house. It was a neutral house, and everything was good. I had a good job as a director of information technology. And then
Hmm.
in 2008, when we had the Great Recession, it started in 2007, 2008, ended in 2009. But I lost my job. My company went through a merger, was bought up by another company, and I fully expected, as director of IT, to move with the new company. They interviewed me multiple times, and as it turned out, they didn't take any of the employees. They only took our technology and
Mm,
our customers. And so I
mm,
lost my job. And there I
yeah.
was standing there talking to my wife, and the companies were not hiring at the time. I said, it made me feel the worst I've ever felt in my life. What am I going to
Mm,
do? I've got six kids. I
right.
don't have a job. I don't have any prospects lined up. And I told my wife then, you know what? I'm never going to depend on one income stream in my life or one
Hmm.
job, because if something happens to that, then then we've lost so much. So it was a rough time for us. We also had some investments that went bad because we had rental homes, and the people that were renting their homes, they had the same situation, so they couldn't pay me.
Yep.
So it was just domino effect. But
Yeah.
my wife gave me confidence. She said, "It's okay. We'll figure it out." And we did. And it led me to the best job in my life, which I am now as a professor, and now teaching kids about learning about financial freedom, and to my book called Achieving Financial Freedom, because I'm always teaching them about you need to have multiple streams of income. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. I teach them about the stock market, diversifying, and mindset. Going back to what you said, the most important thing, we've got a brain that's amazing, that can figure things out. And if we think the cup is half full, it is. But if it's half empty, it is as well. But it's up to us to choose. So I recovered since 2008, and I'm doing well, getting ready to retire in a few years. But it was tough.
Yeah. No, I think so. During that 2008, nobody was left untouched. We were not either, and experienced a lot of things during that time. That said, you learn from it. Sometimes what happens is that when winds are not blowing our way, and like, you're caught in a hurricane of life or hurricane of external conditions that are not optimal to your survival, it's important to figure out what could be done, and you learned your lesson. Not only that, you're taking that lesson and giving back to other people, and especially students, right? They are the leaders of our tomorrow.
Yes.
So as our listeners are listening, so you mentioned the several different streams of income. So for, let's say, anybody general, like, somebody who's working in the corporate or is an entrepreneur, how can they even kind of think about moving to create those different streams of income and achieving that financial freedom?
Sure. Well, everybody to have everybody has hobbies, and everybody has skills. And the most important thing is, for young people, is to create skills. And we have to think about adding value to everything we do, whether it's a product or a service, or maybe in your classes, or maybe uh, eh, starting your own business. It's all about adding value where you become needed. And if you can do that in multiple streams, if you can do that in different activities, you can start building wealth throughout these different activities. The ways that I like to build wealth the best, that most people do, if you look at all the millionaires and even some billionaires, they all have land and property, and houses and businesses, because there's only so much land, there's only so much good land, and everybody has to live someplace. So property and rental income is always a great investment for the long term. And other investments are just learning how to get started investing in the stock market. Last year, the Standard and P, which is how we measure the market, how well it's doing,
Mhm.
was up by over 23%. If you just have your money not being invested in the bank, making a 0.5%, or maybe 4% at the most at an online bank, you're losing all that opportunity. So by just taking the steps to learning how to invest in the markets, you have the possibility of creating that income stream as well. Now, the market, it's just basically all these different companies. The S&P is made up of 500 companies, and they're all trying to do the same thing. They're trying to push their products and services and add value to the customers. So you have all these different businesses trying to grow their businesses. So what we do is I just tell people to start with investing in the S&P,
Mm.
and learn how to trade, learn technical analysis, and learn about income statements and cash flow and balance sheets, which is not very hard. But if they focus on learning new skills all the time, then they're gonna grow, and they'll have these opportunities. And
Definitely, that makes sense. So, let's say if there is a new investor. So, what would be some of your life lessons that you have learned that you would tell them, like, like playing with paper money and also having the mindset about the ups and downs? What might be some of those?
okay, well, there's always going to be ups and downs, just as we live our life every day. So you got to start small, and you can definitely start with paper money. You can start trading and then watching the paper money, which it looks like you're really investing, but it's not. It's paper money, and you start learning technical analysis, or well, let me back up, because there's many different types of traders, right? There's your day
Mhm.
traders, which is almost, it's a little bit risky. It's almost like gambling. So I don't recommend day trading. But the swing trading, which is more like betting on companies that have some new event, momentum that's going their way, new laws and regulations that are going to be coming their way, a lot of growth opportunities. There's swing trading, which I do like, which is from 1 day to maybe 6 months. And then there's long-term investing, which you definitely want to do some long-term investings. Both of those type of investments require different types of skills in the investing market. The swing trading is more technical analysis. You're looking for those swings and you're reading the
Mhm.
charts. And the long term trading is an investment where you're finding the good companies, the Apples, the Microsofts, the Teslas, the Googles. We call them right now. They've been last year they were the Magnificent Seven. These good companies that are going to be around for the long term, and when they go down in value because of the different valuations in the market, it's okay, because we're using something called dollar cost averaging. And dollar cost averaging says, hey, every 2 weeks when I get paid, even if the stock went down, I know it's a good company. I'm going to just invest a little bit more. And then you bring down the cost of your investments there.
Mhm.
So, and then one more key thing is technology is so great. Find companies that have really good technology. When I mentioned the Magnificent Seven, the things that they all have in common is they all use technology very well. Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, they're all about technology, because once you build it, you can expand it worldwide. So when you're looking for companies, make sure they have good technology and they're not limited there. But there's so many opportunities. But start small, because you have to be able to sleep at night with your investments, and they will go down. They will go
Yeah.
down. But yeah,
And I like what you said about that long term too. So it's almost building confidence that you start out small, see how you're doing, and also looking at your capacity, like the tolerance level. I always kind of
yes,
call it, like, coming from a science background, it's the plus minus errors. So okay, so if, like, what's your tolerance level? Woo, like if the market goes up, like, you're not going to be able to sleep at night, or if the
yes.
market goes down, then again you're not sleeping at night. So not relying on it completely, but thinking about it as a additional stream of income
Yes.
and building for the long term. So for the long term, like, sometimes the financial planners will suggest that, like, you can go in for a little bit of a risky, because, like, if especially with the 401k, if your company's matching the 401k, then you can take that risk, like, because you cannot take it out for 20-30 years anyway.
Yeah. And if your company does have a 401k, I always tell people, definitely invest in your 401k. That's where you start, because most companies will match it between 3 and even 8%.
Hmm.
So they're match your funds, and that's free money that you need to be taking. Not free money, it's coming through your employment, but it's money that will go into your savings account, your investments, your retirement. So you need to be in there. And a lot of people, they join a company and they hear about it, but they don't know what is this, 401k thing and what's this matching thing, and they don't take the time to really investigate, and they're losing out on a great opportunity. So,
Absolutely. No, that's definitely a good point. Look
mhm,
out for just kind of sitting down. Especially if you're joining a new job, or even if you're transitioning, you're joining a new company, it's important to look at all the benefits that you have, because those are in addition to what you're being paid. And then making sure that you're putting them to work for you. And as you mentioned that, like, so
exactly.
in 401k also, there are different options that companies provide. How can people make selections out of that? Because sometimes you may not have the best of the best options. What would you
Okay.
recommend?
Well, you're correct. You're very limited with the number of options that you have through your 401k, and normally your company working with, for example, Fidelity, which is one of the biggest investment houses. They work together to come up with probably between 8 and 15 different types of investments.
Hmm.
And so for example, if you not that you are, but if you were wanting to invest in Bitcoin and the blockchain, that's not something that is going to be in your 401k. So you're
Right.
you're limited. The most
Hmm.
common thing that people have access to is they have investments that are based upon your age and when you're going to retire.
Hmm.
And within those investments, they handle that for you. It could be a mix of international funds, growth funds, and different types of stocks. So that is the place to start. Based upon your age um, invest in one of those funds. What I would do first, if you're new with one of these investment brokers like Fidelity, is call them up. They have excellent customer service. You call them up and you have a conversation. Say, hey, I'm 25, I'm 30, I'm just new to investing. What do you recommend? How you know Each fund with a company is a little bit different, so I can't get into the details of
Of course
the
not.
funds,
Yeah.
but but have a conversation with your broker, and then you start to learn how to manage that, and you start to watch it. And then if you want to, you can also have your own individual accounts as well. If you create your own, I would say Roth. I love the Roth. Right now we can, if you're younger, you can put in about 7,500 into a Roth. If you're older,
And
it's
is
8,000.
there okay, so 7,500 for the younger people. And you mentioned 10,000 for older people?
8,000.
8,000 for
Mhm.
older people. And is there like a income limit? Because sometimes what happens is like you cannot contribute to Roth if you're over certain income limit, or there's no.
No, there's no limit to age. And what's great about the Roth, for those who haven't heard about it, is everything you put in, all the investments that grow after that, and
Hmm.
let's say you matched what the S&P was, 23.5%, that's all tax-free money. It's all
Yeah.
tax-free money, and that is huge. You Different from your 401k, because when you 401k, when you reach a certain age, around 72, you have to pull a certain percentage, about 4% out of your 401k, or 3% out of your 401k, and then you start getting taxed on it.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam's government's going to make sure they get their taxes out of it. So you invest it tax free. You're not paying money into it. You're not paying taxes when it goes into your 401k, but you're paying it when you're pulling it out. In a
Hmm.
Roth, you're paying taxes up front, but all your investments grow and you're not paying any taxes on that investment. So I definitely
Absolutely.
recommend a Roth account.
Yeah, now that's very
Yeah.
powerful. And I really had liked what you had said earlier, is that call up the brokerage, talk to people, take that time to invest in yourself. So another question that comes to my mind, is there like an income limit? So let's say somebody's making 100,000, somebody may be making 200,000. And especially in the data scientist, and a lot of coders and a lot of software engineers make somewhere even up to 300 or $400,000, and even more. So is there a limit where you can not put in Roth as far as the income limit is concerned?
No, there's not an income limit. However, you can only put in so much Roth every year. So depending on your age, but it's not based upon income. It's based upon how much you can put into the Roth.
Okay, so let's say if I'm making $300,000, I could still contribute 7,500 if I were
Absolutely.
25.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And if I were
And
50, I would
then
contribute
remember to do that
every.
every year. Just keep doing it every year.
Awesome. And yeah, like you said, it grows. So some really great tips. And very quickly, if you could, like, let's say we've talked about the young ones, and now what are some of the myths about the retirement? And if you could just kind of touch upon that quickly, because we are nearing to the end of the show. And
Sure, that's a big one. Well,
yeah.
okay, so we have got the baby boomers right now. I'm a baby boomer, so I'll retire in a few years. But the baby boomers retire at 11,000 people per day.
Wow.
11,000, right? And it's an opportunity for young people too, because a lot of these baby boomers have small businesses that the
Ah.
younger people can take over. But the problem with the baby boomers and the retirement is most of them did not take the time to prepare as much as they should have. And
Mm,
only about 38% of them will have enough money to last them in throughout their retirement. Why? Well, when Social Security was first created, people were retiring back in 1935 under Roosevelt. They retired at 65 years old, right? Oh, and maybe lived till they were 67. But
right.
now I'm, well, I'll be 68. I'll probably retire at 70, and I'll probably live till I'm 95. So people are living
Mhm.
a good 25 years longer. So it's not, you don't need your retirement to last for 3 to 5 years longer. You need it to last for 25 years longer
Right.
because we got, we live in much cleaner environments. We've got good health care. We've got biological
Mhm.
drugs. People are exercising more. Work has changed where it's not so dangerous. And so all these reasons why we're living so much longer. And what the good side about that is people are retiring healthy and they can do things. And so
So you
it's a
need more
myth.
money.
So yeah, well, it's a myth to think, oh, I'm retired, I'm done with working. No, no, no. You're gonna need income coming in, but do the things that you want to do, that you enjoy to do.
Right.
And because so many things that you can do even after retirement. You don't have to stop working. You're healthy.
Mhm.
Why? You know,
Yeah, no,
just
that makes
just
perfect sense.
yeah.
And and also, like, if you look at the Social Security, they say, like, you can take it at 67. So, and also you get a whole lot more if you get it at 70. So that's also something to be kept in
Yeah.
mind.
It's actually
And
it's a huge difference. It's 8%
yeah,
more per year if you wait till you're
wow.
70. So that's
Yeah,
24% for the rest of your life. So if
right.
you're healthy, right, it's a good consideration to think about taking your retirement at 70 rather than at 67
Hmm.
because it's 24% more for the rest of your life. So
Yeah,
that's definitely something to consider.
absolutely. So what I'm hearing is that it's well and good retire, but like plan it out. And also just that even just because you've retired doesn't mean you could not do some, part-time work or have that business or something. So having some sort of stream of income. Am I hearing right?
You are correct. You have to plan it out, but you also have to be flexible because as
Mm,
we were talking about before, life does happen, right? We don't
right.
know.
Yeah.
There's so many different variables, but we have to just what how can we make the best of this situation?
And how do we account for some unexpected illness, or it can be, the economy or whatever it is. So just kind of keeping that in mind as you retire. So we have covered a broad spectrum today. Thank you for sharing your insights. So do share with us, where can people connect with you? Where can people get your book and all the
Sure,
good stuff?
sure. So I've got a couple books that are on Amazon right now. Uh, Achieving Financial Freedom, which teaches people how to invest and how to get started and how to fix your Social Security. And then I've got Retirement Reimagined, which is a brand new book, which will be out there within a couple months. I'm
Hmm.
working through some publishers right now, and that is about what we were just talking about: is reimagine how your retirement's going to be and what you can do, and how to invest in your retirement ages. People can reach me through my email. It's just my name, Ramirez, Ramirez .bob@gmail.com. I think I've had that for like 35, 40 years. So, but I've got multiple email addresses, but that's the easiest way is if you remember my name. And you can also find me on LinkedIn under Dr. Robert Ramirez. So
Oh,
multiple ways to find me. I can even give your guests my phone number. If I can sit, I always do free consulting the first time. And my phone number is 661-916-4073.
fantastic. And any last words that you would like to share with our audience?
Stay positive. That mindset. I just kind of have to circle around you. It's our decision. And I loved your example about the thermostat. The temperature outside is that hot, but we can control it with the thermostat. We can control what happens and what we do with that information. Keep learning.
Yeah, keep learning. Yes, that is the key, because what we don't know is so much that, and as you keep learning, and I want to bring back to what you had mentioned, is keep building the new skills, keeping that positivity and being open to possibilities, and you will achieve a life with financial freedom, as we talked about today. And reach out to Dr. Bob, and he is there to kind of help you and support you. So thank you, Dr. Bob, for joining us. And thank you, wonderful audience, because without you, the show would not be possible. And I really appreciate you reaching out to me, sharing what's on your heart, how we can support you. Y'all are the best. And thank you, Juan, for making the show technically possible. Be well and take care until next time.
Thank you for being part of Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. We hope you have learned more about how to start living the life you want. Each week on Beyond Confidence, you hear stories of real people who have experienced growth by overcoming their fears and building meaningful relationships. During Beyond Confidence, Divya Parekh shares what happened to her when she stepped out of her comfort zone to work directly with people across the globe. She not only coaches people how to form heart connections, but also transform relationships to mutually beneficial partnerships as they strive to live the life they want. If you are ready to live the life you want and leverage your strengths, learn more at www.divyaparekh.com. And you can connect with Divya at contact@divyaparekh.com. We look forward to you joining us next week.